To wear the jewelry of Eveli is to feel the spirit of the earth, to be held by the rawness of the stone, bone, gold, and silver, to acknowledge our own spirit.
Eveli is the connection to Charles Loloma, who's one of the most important Hopi artists, period. She has this spiritual connection with her artwork, her jewelry, and her sculpture.
To wear the jewelry of Eveli is to be seen and touched by beauty, to receive the honesty of an artist's heart.
I was born in Algeria, North Africa. I grew up in a lot of isolation. When I think of my childhood, it's like a huge empty space. You don't have any toys as a kid. You're just on your own, out there playing with rocks and lizards and snakes. But of course, I was surrounded by Berber culture. In the house, all the rugs and all the blankets were Moroccan weavings. The implements in the kitchen were all brass and copper. My parents were not of the high class. I was considered to be French because my parents sort of French and Spanish descent, but I never felt really French. I was very affected by listening to the muezzin 5 times a day calling for prayer. For me, that was one of the greatest mystical and spiritual moments that I had in life. All of my life, for some reason, I've always had teachers take me under their wings. Going to France with a high school teacher because I was already 18, so I was okay. I would be going to university, receiving scholarships. I did not feel at home in Europe, and I became very ill. When I came back to living state, I remember saying, from now on, I'm going to live on vacation. The first thing I did is start painting, embroidering, making puppets. As I was recovering, I would listen to temple music, with a big boom, and it kind of put me in a different state of mind, and this big voice came through me telling me I had to go to North America. I immediately went to the American Alliance. Somebody was selling a ticket to San Francisco. Even though I was scared to death, I could not help myself. I had to go. I was starting to look for Indian people. Somebody invited me to go to a concert at the Fillmore. I saw a group of people. They were talking about a Native American resisting the draft. It was still Vietnam War. They said that there would be a trial at the federal building. I went there. I pressed the button to get the elevator, and this huge elevator came up with 2 big doors, opened up. It was filled with all the Native people from the Southwest in their ceremonial regalia. Just stood there, my mouth dropped, and I thought, wow. And so I stepped into the elevator, they made room for me, and they immediately started talking, and the people who communicated with me were people from Hopi. And then we went through the whole trial. At the end of the day, they told me, well, you want to come with us at the Intertribal House in Berkeley? It was in a big room. I was the only non-Indian in the whole group. After we ate, they started drumming and dancing. So here I am, among all of them, dancing with them. All of a sudden, I get through my whole body. I felt like, I was like blissful and thinking, oh my God, I finally got home. They left me an address, and a couple of months later, the same thing happened to me like when I was in Paris, telling me it's time to go to Hopi. Took off for the reservation. I said, I came to see the bean dance. And I thought after the bean dance that I would leave, and they said, no, you can sit there if you want to. So, okay. This man came and sat right next to me. He immediately started talking with me. Well, I didn't know who Loloma was, but that was Loloma. So he told me, would you like to learn how to make jewelry? I said, of course I do. That's how I started to make jewelry eventually.
Now that Charles is gone, you can't contradict him. Everybody claims to have apprenticed with him. Truthfully, only 2, maybe 3 people did, Verma and her sister Sherry and Eveli.
You could see her influence with Loloma, but then she also influenced him.
It is very essential for our own health and happiness, mental happiness, to find beauty, see beauty, and create beauty. And I found that for making jewelry and working with stones.
This piece she brought in for me to sell. It's a snake design. As you see, I have another snake on. And it was like, I don't want to make money off it, I want to keep it forever.
This ring, the Hopi Mesas, just reminds me of being up at Hopi.
I'm working in Loloma style, and I use exactly the same material that he was using. Parallel to that, I was doing a lot of bone work. So this is like a steak bone. This is a lid. Inside there is an empty space.
The first thing we did together was a piece from one of her clients. A piece of inlay had fallen out, and she asked me, "Is this something you can fix?" I quickly realized, here's the teacher right in front of me. It was really exciting, kind of getting a peek into her process. Then the book started looming.
So this book is a manual for her life. She's showing it to people and saying, this is how I've lived.
She carried a piece of every place she went with her. When she hit Hopi, it all kind of came together.
Hopi and yoga have been the ground of survival for me as an unmarried woman and as a forever foreigner wherever I am. Hopi really reconnected me to earth. Yoga connected me with the reverence we need to have in everything we do. Traditionally, before you do a yoga class, you offer it. And at Hopi, everything you do, you offer. This is the state of mind in which I created my jewelry. They were all offerings, every one of them.
I spent a week photographing 200 or 300 pieces of her works. She never repeated a single piece. And every piece had this incredible respect for the materials.
Other jewelers would say, why are you using that piece of turquoise? It's mottled, or it's cloudy, or it's not good quality, it's not valuable. She was finding the strengths in their imperfections to tell the story, because they looked like clouds, or they looked like dappled pools of water and reflections coming off the water.
In formal, jewelry, people always use the best quality material, which is fine. But I was using the stones as pigments. So I was interested in all the different hues and the different inclusions and really weird stuff that was happening in the stone.
Eveli didn't find her artistic vision just to jewelry. It was about sculpture, drawing. It was about her approach to life.
Eveli did some bronzes, and she's not known for this, and they really kind of represent Eveli.
She says life's a journey to the center of who you are and discovering your link to infinity and how you relate to everything else. Community is very important to her. She, at 83, gets together with friends all the time. She bikes, she hikes, she teaches yoga twice a week. I want to be Eveli when I grow up.
The significance starts on a void, and it will end on a void. And the void will circulate throughout, using open passages from one page to the other. Through these passages, the immense being of the universe unceasingly breathes with the deep vibration of tubas resounding in infinite harmony. Through these corridors of never-ending life, the great force at work attracts and pulls all living things, giving birth, shaping our lives, and taking us away.
Hi, I'm Tom McNamara, host of Arizona Illustrated. Thanks so much for watching this story from our show. And for more local stories from Arizona Illustrated, just click right here.